Well, first things first, how does it feel to finally get back to Manhattan?
Oh man, it was so good to sleeping on my own bed and be at home, and so thankful for. We had a manager, Derek, and Jenna, Phil's wife. They were back. They were here, and they went and they cleaned off our cars and stuff. And so when we got back, we didn't have to dig out of snow, and so it was such a blessing. So thank you to them. And then there was a company out that I didn't even do business with, but they took care of my driveway for me. Someone called them and asked them. They took care of my driveway for me. So, that was a blessing too, because my son was stuck at home taking care of the dogs. So thankful for everybody. I loved the way how the city rallied, to get the place going again, and it was great to be home.
With that road trip, you kind of let the lead slip away late against TCU, and then a double-digit loss to Oklahoma State. Was there one of those games in particular that stung a little bit more?
Well, I was more disappointed in the effort that we gave at Oklahoma State. Like if we give effort, right, and the other team makes plays, right, then you tip your hat to them. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from Oklahoma State because they played hard and they played great, but I don't think in the first half we gave an effort that was worthy of being a K-State Wildcat. And so, I take responsibility for that, and we're going to try and make sure that never happens again. TCU game was great, learning experience. I thought our guys did a lot of great things and put us in position to have a win. TCU banks in a 3, and then they go on a 7-0 run to close out the game. And that's just a credit to them and their toughness. And there were some things that we could have done, differently. Hurt to lose, right? But more disappointed in the effort that we gave at Oklahoma State.
And then coming up tomorrow, Houston. Obviously, Kelvin Sampson's teams defensively are always great, but this one, number 1 in the country in scoring defense. What makes them so special defensively?
Man, they don't have any weaknesses. They can all guard their positions. They can switch and guard multiple positions. They cover everything up on ball screen. If you ball screen them, like I haven't seen one guard in all the games I've watched. I haven't seen one guard beat a big on a ball screen hedge this year. I've only seen 3 fouls drawn on a ball screen hedge. So they do just a really good job of corralling that and loading up on the backside so that you have to throw a long pass, which they're able to close out to. And then in the post, I've watched a lot of games, but I've charted probably, 7 of them, and there might have been 14 post plays ran because they do such a good job of doubling the post that it causes turnovers, so people just abandon it. So you end up playing a one-on-one game, and now so then it comes down to players making plays, and so they do a terrific job defensively, and we're gonna have to we have to make shots. We have to rise up and make some shots.
When you have a road trip like that, I'm curious as to, and with all of the issues with it traveling. What's your message to the guys? Everybody was down about the 2 losses. I'm curious as to how they've responded maybe since the 2 losses.
We have a next play mentality. Like we say, tough people do the next right thing, and I believe we got a tough team, and and they're together team. Those guys they like each other. We are growing together as a family and learning to know each other, and they love this place, and so they're disappointed in the losses, but we can't let. Just like we can't let wins linger, we can't let losses linger, and we have to move on to the next thing. And as far as the travel and stuff go, Bailey did such a terrific job of adjusting on the fly and having hotels ready and meals ready and buses ready and flights and everything. So we didn't miss a beat there. That had nothing to do. The travel nor the weather had anything to do with the results of the game because of what a terrific job Bailey did.
Wanted to ask you about the defense against Usman. It was better in the second half when you went to the zone, but in the first half, he pretty much had his way. How do you kind of keep that from – how do you make that better, I guess?
Yeah, well, the first thing you change is effort. The second thing you change is personnel. The last thing you change is scheme. And We should have, as a staff, had a backup plan to what to do. But yeah, that was poor planning on the staff's part and poor effort on the execution of the players' part.
As you look back and maybe even watched film, what were your impressions of the zone and how that was effective?
Well, the numbers actually say that our man defense was better than the zone, but the way the guys were flying around and we paused them, offensively, they became more stagnant. So, it looked better. And what happened on the other, we made shots too, right? And so when you make shots, it kind of looks better. I was proud of the run we made, but then we still gave up runs in it. And so the zone was good, but it wasn't great.
There have been runs against you, unfortunately, in this stretch. That's another thing I'm sure you've studied, looked at, what have you. How do you go about minimizing that?
Yeah, we've talked about this. So we've had 5 what they call kill shots, right, where you go on a 10-0 run, and we've had 5 of those, and we've won all 5 of those games. And we've had 5 against us, and we've lost 4 out of 5 of those. There was one game where we had a kill shot and they had a kill shot, and we won them. But for this team, it's not just the kill shot. It's probably like 8-0 runs, and so we've charted those, and we've been on the wrong end of 8-0 runs. We've had less 8-0 runs than our opponents have, especially in the losses. And so you look at the personnel that was in, you look at what you were running. Maybe for us, if it's a 4 or 5-0 run, we need a timeout. I might need to call a timeout earlier than I would on the normal base, just because of the makeup of this team, where we're at right now. And so we're looking at everything as a staff to figure out, what we can do to give ourselves a chance so that we can be in games at the end.
When you look at Houston's defensive numbers, they are exceptionally impressive. And you mentioned, what they do and how they do it. I'm curious as a coach, your appreciation for just how hard they seem to play, how structured they are in what they do, and just the mental and physical toughness of that.
I think we could say that about a bunch of teams in this league. Going into it, I've said I thought at the start of the year, Cincinnati, Houston, and Iowa State were underrated, and I think both Iowa State and Houston were ranked in the top 5 at the start of the season, and I still think they're underrated where they're at right now. The thing about Houston and Iowa State is that they don't have to make shots to beat you, right? They can just stop you and stifle you, right? And then when you add in the fact that they're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country, right, then that just adds on top of it. And so I have a great deal of respect for all the teams in our league and how hard the coaches get their kids to play and their schemes, and everybody does it a little bit different, but there's a great respect for all of them.
When you watched the tape of the Oklahoma State game with Ugo in the second half, what did you like about just his presence at the rim?
I liked his presence at the rim. We told him that's why I brought him here. What I was more impressed with is the way his teammates cheered for him, right? And that showed me that they had confidence and they cared about him and his success. And watching the way his teammates responded to him, it let me know there was still a connection there that we can move forward with this thing. So I'm excited about that. Well, thanks a lot. Go Cats.
Thank you.